I came across this post in the marriage subreddit. This woman came to vent in this post saying, "Husband said I am no longer young." And then she just said, "This is a vent. Please do not start screaming divorce as I came here to vent." She says, "My husband is the only one in his friends group that is married. He's 30 and I'm 29. I don't know how to say this nicely, but his friends, until very recently, were all single, and there's a reason for that. Unable to keep jobs, still living with parents, and smoking tons of weed. I have nothing against weed per se, but when it inhibits you from doing anything other than staying in your bed, on your phone, all day, all week, and all the time, it's probably a problem. I don't really care what they do with their lives, and I'm not the one to judge, just stating facts." Anyway, both of his friends got their first girlfriends in the last 4 months, and they are girls 10 years younger, 18 or 19 years old. When he told me about it, I said, "Poor girls. I too was once young, dumb, and used by older men." When he asked me to elaborate, I tried to explain to him the power dynamics in age gap relationships when one partner is this young. However, his comeback was, and I quote, "You're just jealous that they are young," heavily implying that I no longer am at 29 years old. Oh, and he said, "Let them," meaning his friends, "enjoy the young girls while they can." Kind of disgusting. I felt so infuriated that my feelings and arguments were diminished to just that, being jealous that I am no longer young and they are. I feel so dumbfounded. I never knew him like this. I never expected this kind of comment. I honestly thought he would agree with me. Need need I say that my self-esteem has been seriously hit? I saw how he sees me and I can't get over it. Am I overreacting? I don't think that she's overreacting and her feelings are valid as far as the age gap situation, because I also feel the exact same way about the power dynamics in the age gap situation. And having her husband speak to her like that to imply that she was older and she was jealous, it's just basically to support his friends thinking that those power dynamics are not there. But also, she sees that her husband is perfectly fine with these girls being used, talking about let them use these girls while they can. And yeah, I understand why she is disgusted, but I also chimed in right here, and I'll just read my own words because yes, I do come in to Reddit and I speak sometimes. Sometimes I do just take screenshots, sometimes I do make comments. I said, "It's sad that so many women's self esteem is based on men's opinions. You have lived another year versus dying. Don't let any man, even your husband, make you feel bad about that. And attempt to live your life without worrying about the head pats from men or the insults. Try to tap into some internal sense of love. I wish I would allow a man to make me feel bad about continuing to live. Tuh. This is why I have banned this is why I have been banned off of Facebook so many times. Too many mendacious males having the nerve to insult women while looking like they're falling apart at the seams with postpartum or pregnant bellies and breastfeeding tatas. Y'all women better learn to match these dudes' energy. Someone calls you old, you need to figure out that trigger point and touch it on them. Stop just letting it ride. I don't care. Well, these men need to feel it a little bit more. The fact that he would imply that she's old simply because she has an issue with a man using a teenager is a mess. But the thing is, why are you trying to insult your wife? Ladies, and I'm just going to self esteem comes from within. Stop worrying about the head pats of men. Men use compliments and insults to try to shape your behavior. That is all they do. They use compliments because they'll be like, "I like it when you do X, Y, and Z," hoping that that'll make you dance and entertain them by doing that. They also use insults in the exact same way so that you will avoid whatever they dislike. So please keep that in mind. Stop worrying about the opinions of men and how you move. Get some internal sense of self esteem and stop relying on men's opinions. Stop waiting on the validation of men and how you move. All right, so we have Rumpelmaker says, "You obviously know you're not old. He's older, lol. I hope." The real problem here is that he's friends with, as per your description, losers who prey on young women and girls, and he thinks that's okay. That would really give me the ick, for lack of a better word. So, what? If he was single, he'd also pick up a recent high school graduate and enjoy her? Yuck and yikes. Van says he will be joining them soon if he hasn't already. Christopher the Nerd says a Redditor said, based on nothing, Guy is clearly in the wrong and his friends suck, but we don't need to invent things. Old Cousin Greg says, did this post hurt your feelings? Unlikely Bag says, OP's post gave me the ick for her, like just ick. Remote says, I had the same feeling. Makes me wonder what else he believes about women or his wife. I think it's because the manosphere loves to proclaim that women are used up, ugly, and old after 25. If a woman's main value is in being young, attractive, and presumably malleable, any man, even an unattractive guy without an education, job, kind heart, willingness to do housework or childcare, is vastly superior to a 26-year-old woman with money, education, friends, opportunities, etc. Saying that she has to be jealous suggests that he views women in this manner. And the manosphere does do this. The manosphere devalues women to the point of nothing if you have gotten older, if you've had the nerve to live 1 year younger. I'm sorry, 1 year older. And so this is the reason why I keep saying that the manosphere and these men are helping to keep other men single, because there is absolutely no way that women are just supposed to shrink up and die. But they use that as another control tactic to make you continue to try to prove your usefulness after you age out of what they deem acceptable. Sunshine Paradox says it gets younger and younger too when we hit the wall. I remember it being 30. I feel like I'm in that 70s novel where the old are disposed of, forgot the name, as a 37-year-old woman. It really does keep getting younger. But the thing is, it moves based on how they can use it to diminish you. So right now, I do kind of remember it being 35, then it moved to 30. Now it's anything over 25 where you're disposable or unuseful or not young. Remote says, I'm sorry to hear that. It might not always be like that. My 30s were tough, young kids, toxic marriage, etc. I'm 66 now, and honestly, I'm having so much fun in retirement. I feel so connected to my community, volunteering, friends, and family that I feel like a pretty big presence in my life and in others' lives. Not as a hot young thing, although my husband swears I am, of course, but as a person who's appreciated and loved. Amen. High five. Detrive says, my self esteem wouldn't be hit with my husband saying this. My attraction to him and my belief in his intelligence would be, though. Exactly. Salty Egg says, agree. One time my husband called me old. Well, I said something about being in my mid 30s, and he raised an eyebrow and said, mid? But we could laugh about it because he wasn't in the same breath defending guys in their 30s dating teenagers. Disastrous as it's this for me, lol. I'm a huge believer in that you can choose who you surround yourself with, but once it starts impacting your values and opinions, maybe rethink how much time you spend with your husband's friends. OP. I'm a married woman and would never impulsively say divorce. If your husband isn't at least willing to sit down and have a genuine conversation about how unhealthy his current mindset and reaction towards you, his wife, is for your marriage, is this something you really want to continue putting energy into? If he truly meant what he said, it's not only disrespectful, it's also really gross. I would have trouble looking at him romantically, sexually, or even as an equal. High five, another married woman. To diminish her in this way, to be disrespectful in this way for some friends that are loser men, absolutely not. That should be a deal breaker, but she says sit down and have a conversation. Anyways, let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Like I said, the manosphere is keeping these men jacked up. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.